All right, dearly beloved, it's one of those episodes where I get to bring on a special guest. And today I have one of our Magic Mind members, Katie Colormaiden, who is a rare creative unicorn, an artist who spreadsheets and designs soulful systems, sites, and spaces that help brilliant, playful, spiritual entrepreneurs thrive and shine. With 24 years running her own design agency, she blends award-winning creative direction, smart technology, and holistic business strategy to bring playful spiritual entrepreneurs' visions to life. And I am happy and fortunate to be one of those entrepreneurs whose visions were recently brought to life. We worked with Katie this year on upgrading the Magic Media website and branding because over the last bunch of years, we have gone through a ton of changes at Magic Media. We've built a kids audio entertainment company. We have closed for that company 45 licensing partnerships that'll put us in front of probably millions of people over this next 12 months. We have built an amazing library of 800 plus songs. We built our own custom app. We have created 50 plus movies for the ears audio stories, my meditation library that's reached millions and millions of people. Coaching retreats, get shit done retreats, tons of live events, the Magic Mind coaching community, one-to-one services, our creative agency services, thriving in business without social media workshops, the signature workshop training with Tad. We've launched our own sport called Play Chi Ball. And so with that, that comes a whole other genre of launching a physical handball game into the world that is flash mob events, that is basically spreading joy to the world one rally at a time, marketing videos, music videos. We've got my upcoming golf novel. So I'm one of those creatives in the world. My old website was just getting clunky and incohesive, and it was hard for people to understand where to go and what to do and how to lean in and engage with my work. And so I approached Katie at the end of 2024, and I was like, I need a facelift with my website. This site has been like, it served its purpose for about 6 years, and it just was no longer a reflection of who I am as an entrepreneur and as a creator. It didn't reflect all of the amazing projects and people that we have worked with over the years and all the transformations that we've facilitated at Magic Media through our creative agency services, all the partnership projects that we've done, online schools we've built, the teacher trainings that we've supported to launch. And I needed a facelift. And because Katie was a part of the Magic Mind, I believe for about a year and a half now, but a year at the time, she got to know my work intimately, and I always loved uh, just the playfulness of Katie's design work on all of the websites that she does. And so I approached Katie the end of last year. We got to work starting in and around January of this year, and we went to town just like really transforming page by page everything about what we do in this particular chapter of Magic Media in all the ways that the world can engage with our work, and to better help me align with the types of teachers, coaches, and entrepreneurs who are actually ready for what it is that I do as a coach and a creative consultant, and the work that we do at Magic Media inside of the scope of our agency services. And so, if you're on the YouTube version of this, I've been scrolling the beautiful new website that Katie helped to build over the last bunch of months. And it's just been an absolute pleasure working with Katie. And that's why I wanted to bring you on for this particular session today to just give people a taste of your personality, because I know anybody out there that's really looking to level up, um, this day and age, if you want to be paid like a professional, and this comes from somebody that's, been making magic on the internet for over 20 years, you really do need your brand to look and feel professional. It builds instant trust and credibility when somebody goes to your website and it's beautifully designed. There's clearly thought that's been put into it. The words speak to the soul, and the images jump off the page and make you want to stop the scroll. And Katie, as I said in the bio, is one of those rare systematic organization focused design people that is like an artist mixed with strategy, mixed with organization, and that's really helped to land exactly where we want to be in this new chapter with Magic Media and all of the different ways that we're looking to leverage the work that we have done and do with people. And so, Katie, thanks for taking some time to come on the Making Magic podcast and YouTube channel and to talk a little bit about design and branding and websites. You've been doing this for a long time. If people go to your website, Embody Art, it's like you've got 100, 200 testimonials on there. There's a ton of case studies and client stories. And it's just, you've got a really big body of work that you've done. And so I just wanted to come on and talk because I know so many people, and I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs, coaches, teachers, creators. And one of the things I always notice is so many people that do it themselves end up selling themselves short because they're never going to be able to do their website, their brand, their message, the look and the feel justice for who they
Yeah.
are and the work they actually do in the world. And they actually do it at a detriment to the amount of money they're able to make. They do it at a detriment to the amount of people they're able to impact because as soon as somebody comes on their website, unless they have a personal relationship with them, if that website and that brand isn't authentically expressing the uniqueness of that person, the people are going to be gone and they'll never take the chance to actually get to know the entrepreneur, the coach, or the creator. And I just, I'm really grateful for all the love you poured into what we're doing at Magic Media. And I know it was a big overhaul of what we had before to where we are now. Uh,
Yeah.
and for anybody doing a rebrand, the work's never done. It's never done. But
Yeah.
now it's like we're live, and that is a good feeling. So thanks for taking some time.
Awesome. Yeah, well, that was incredibly well said, and I loved watching you scroll through the pages. It's really nice. You often don't get a like comprehensive view of a site like that because you tend to go to like one particular spot. So I thought that was really helpful. Yeah, I mean, just everything you said was on the money. And I could not agree more about, especially what you just said about how people are selling themselves short. That is my client after client who's my perfect client. They're like, I'm thinking of one right now, and she was like, oh, this now that we've built her brand and her website, she's like, this is what I never allowed myself to have. And she's a super accomplished, smart, capable person. So, these people that we're talking about, entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
they're very capable people, they're can-doers. And so, of course, you can piece something together. It's not like, and maybe it might even be really good. Eventually, it's going to take you an awful lot of time and effort. It's usually, I mean, that's optimistic because it's usually more what you said. You usually, I mean, day after day on LinkedIn, I come to people's websites. Of course, there's some people that have good websites. Not like every website's terrible,
Yeah.
but you come to the vast majority are mediocre at best. And you're not mediocre. So it's like, well, you're not usually going to hire somebody who's like, their site is just blah,
Yeah.
and what
Especially
thrills
if they don't
me.
know you personally yet. If they know you
If they don't know
personally,
you personally, if they know you personally, it doesn't even matter really. I mean, it matters a little. You got to have an online presence, but it's not that important. It's much more. I actually always tell people that, like, for a long time, I would tell people I'm a web designer who will tell you you don't always need a website. I mean, yes, everybody ultimately who's in business today needs a website. But if you're, depending on the stage that you're at, yeah, if all of your referrals are friends and people who know you, that's not the most important thing.
But
The
if you're
most
building an
important thing
online
is
business, yeah, if you're building
what
an
to
online
run your
business where you're
business.
doing coaching and you're creating content and workshops and you're touring a signature workshop and you're trying to, pull people into your realm so that you can,
Right. People who do not know you.
that's right,
Yeah.
fill up your programs, sell your
Yeah.
coaching.
They're going to be highly judgmental too because they don't know you. They can be rude.
It's the same as like if we're out in the world, and we're dressed sloppy, our appearance is sloppy. People make snap judgments about
Ew.
who we are, what we look like, etc.,
They do.
regardless of how talented we might be at a thing. And like,
Yeah.
we all do it all the time unconsciously. And the same thing goes if people don't have that reference point and they arrive at your website because they saw a link or they read an article or whatever, that essentially if it doesn't have a resonance that they're attracted to or an aesthetic that pleases the senses when they arrive there, it's a much more likely chance that they're going to be off and gone and on to the next thing. And
For
it
sure.
really is, it is an investment of money and time and energy to do a rebrand and to like build a beautiful website. But if you imagine, like if you had a storefront, how much money would you spend on your inventory? How much would you spend on the decor that's inside the storefront? How
Yeah.
much would you paying for the rent to have that store open? And so when you compare it to like if the majority of your business comes from the internet, having a beautiful online experience for people to come into your site and get to know you better is going to lead to way more sales way faster than having something that is half-assed, do it yourself, put together without any cohesiveness. And so,
Yeah.
it is an investment, but if you think of the grand scheme of things and all the other types of businesses you could have and all the other ways that you would have to pay so much money for rent and
Yeah, that's
overhead
true.
for other types of businesses, this is one of the investments that people want to and should be thinking about making.
I, of course, I agree. It's why I got into all of this. I mean, I was a print designer and I still design print materials, but many years ago when the internet became so relevant, I saw that it was going in that direction. And there were designers who were like, no, I'm not going to really use the internet. And it's like, I think you're going to. So, yeah. But the other thing, that you made me think of when you were just talking is it's such a great opportunity because you can make it represent you properly. So you have so much at your fingertips that we can do. We can give it the look and the feel that properly does represent you. And that's actually why I love it. It's not, I mean, I love design, I love color is my passion, and I love people more. People are even more important than any concept we can come up with. It's all people. And so for me to be able to express who you really are, that is what makes me really gratified. And that's why it's so much fun to have worked on your site and continue to work on your site because I like who you are so much. And so it's so great to be able to just show the world this is this brilliant person. Look what they're telling you and offering you. And, just it's wonderful. It's wonderful to be able to convey that so that other people can then understand it.
Yeah.
So I have a background in communication consulting, which is part of why I'm not only approaching websites as a visual medium, it is highly visual. And it's also all different types of communication. I mean, obviously there's video and audio, there's other things that go into websites, and we've used those nicely on your site. And it's the messaging, the value proposition statement, the threads that tie your whole brand presence together that really convey who you are.
Yeah.
So that's why it's gratifying to me because it's a whole picture. It's holistic. It's not just pretty pictures.
Yes. So what are some of the starting points or the foundations that people need to have in place to be at the stage where they're ready to level up and say, work with someone like you or work with a designer? to really hone in their brand, their message, and their online presence so that it matches the frequency and expression of who they really are and the transformational work they do in the world?
Good question. I don't have like a pre-made answer to that, so I'm
Sure.
just gonna think
Yeah,
of,
ripped on it. Yeah.
okay.
I mean, think back to the process that we went through
Yeah.
with all the questions that you asked me and the prep work that you'd have
Yep.
me to do that I could do the handoff to you.
Yes, exactly. So I do have a process that I used the phrase value proposition statement. I actually invented my own process and years later realized that it was what the world calls a value proposition. So I used to call it your primary statement, which, and I never loved that phrase, but I was like, I cannot come up with anything clearer. I was like, okay, so these questions, when I first started thinking, okay, I'm going to go back a little bit, and this does answer your question about what people need to have in place. Because by answering these questions that I have for people, that's how I know who they are and if they're ready. So what happened to me was when, and we're talking like maybe 15 years ago. I've been in business for myself for 24 years. So maybe 15 years ago, I was really thinking about how do I up level my own business? How do I really, I want to be a big deal. I want to really help, and I want to like just take a website because it's not the only thing that I do, but it's a big, big part of what I do. So I was like, okay, so I know instinctively what makes a website good, but how do I articulate what makes a website good? And how do I pull that out of other people, which is pretty much what you're asking, part of what you're asking. And so I started asking myself that question. It wasn't like a simple, oh, this is what you do. And by asking myself that question, I developed my own process that leads to a client's value proposition statement. Because that, what I used to call primary statement, that tiny little piece of writing, it can be a couple of words. It's not a tagline. All these things are distinct and they all have their purpose. But that simple statement of telling the world what you do, you arrive at that through a very thought through process. So those are the questions that I asked you. And also because you're a prolific writer and an amazing thinker, you had a value proposition statement already. And we created a new one. You created a new one. We discussed it. We worked it through. We looked at it in the context of the new site and everything that you were creating. And so it evolves. And it, like you said, you're never done. It's never just done. And that's another reason websites are cool because they are like you. They call it's an identity.
Yeah.
So in the world of design, your identity system before websites was your logo, your stationery, a brochure probably. And now all of that's still relevant. Plus, even, a huge, huge piece is your website. So when I ask people those questions, they're in-depth questions about, and they're not just about like their brand, they're about them.
Yeah. A
They're
lot
about
of it
what
was like
makes
personal.
you
Yeah.
who you are. And that's how I know, that we are going to click it or not click, possibly. Could be on the wrong resource, it depends on what they're about. Every now and then it's not the right match. Um, I guess it works. I'm usually going to be a resource for somebody who has been in business for a while. They probably have been in business for themselves for a while and they know that they can't do it themselves. They know that what they want is beyond what they're either have the time or the capability to create. And also, even if you do, the back and forth with somebody that who knows what you're talking about and who has the tools is extremely valuable.
Hmm.
So I guess that's a good answer. I hope that's a good answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of a long answer.
Yeah. And what, as far as this particular project went with
Yeah.
the Magic Media redesign, what were some of your favorite pieces, of this project. 'Cause it was, it was quite a few months that we put into
It was a
this whole
long, that
process.
was a big, okay. So I actually was thinking about that. I'm going to go see my notes because I don't want to forget something. See if I can find. Yeah, okay. So, well, so there's working with you is wonderful. That's okay. If we're going to show parts of the site, I'm going to tell you I love the color scheme overall is I
Yeah,
really appreciate. I just think it's really handsome. So I was going for a combination of masculine handsome and still upbeat, friendly, fun, because to me that's Bradley. Bradley is, when I want to, in the process of designing a site, I will ask you what are some examples of sites you like. And the sites that he showed me were very helpful because they were very masculine. And Bradley's site before was kind of neither here nor there. It was perfectly serviceable, but it didn't have in my opinion, a very distinct personality.
yeah,
And so however, what to me is very different about Bradley and a lot of the examples that I saw is that he's got like this real spark. He's got this real fun. If something's not displaying properly there, we need to fix.
oh, there
Oh,
we go.
there we go. Okay, thank you. It was just like a momentary thing. You can't control the internet completely, no matter what you do. Okay, so color scheme. I love the typography, which was also very much influenced by what Bradley was when I asked him what he likes and what he is looking for. I think he wanted clean. I know that he likes blues and he likes gold as an accent color,
Yeah,
so that worked out great. Um, I really like the course library. I think that's super. I'm proud of having created that.
yeah.
It's quite huge
There's a
and
lot
it
of
works.
courses, and up until recently, folks couldn't buy my courses unless they paid a subscription. And so, unless you were in the Magic Mind Plus or Magic Mind regular, you just paid a subscription. You get access to all the courses that I've been making over the years, which is there's a lot of business building courses in here, and this
That's a
is just like
lot.
the
It's a
beautiful
lot
way.
of, so one of my skills and one of the things that I really enjoy is taking a lot of complex information and organizing it really clearly and still making it look really attractive at equally clear and easy to understand.
Yeah,
So it's really important to me. Like, that's why I love this page because I think it's super easy to understand. It's really easy to go to and just see, here's all the courses. And it wasn't like that before.
yeah,
So I love that. And
yeah,
I also really like the video playing. That part's really fun. There's a lot of cool landing pages within this site. There's a lot of depth to the site. So one of the things about this site that's also makes me really happy is what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. It was about the
That's cool.
I know, what can you do? It's live. It was the complexity of the information. It was something to I don't know. I'll come
Yeah.
back to it.
Well, I had a
Doesn't matter.
lot of long form content that was very blocky. Um,
Hmm.
there was a lot of long pages, which there's still some long pages, for this particular training, it's a $1,500 investment, which does require a long page, but you did a great job in breaking it up into these style of chunks. And then for some sections, where it was a lot more information on the previous site, you're just adding drop
Yeah.
where people could get more information, which I really appreciate that. I also love the new shopping cart buttons that you made here. This is another just really beautiful design piece that adds a lot of color and creativity to, regular shopping cart sections are pretty boring.
Yeah. I love those. That was another thing I was going to point out was the pricing tables. I just call them fancy pricing tables. I
Yeah,
love them. I like taking boring information and making it look appealing.
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, it's boring only if you look at it as boring. It does not have to be boring, but it's boring to most people. And I really like saying, "Mm, it doesn't have to be. No,
Yeah.
we're going to make it pretty." Yeah.
Really appreciate
So,
this section as well. This was something that we thought a lot about
yeah.
because I have so many different directions that I work with people and that I create in my own life, helping people choose their path. And so we added these pop-up sections here. So the Magic Mind is like my main membership, the course library, and then one-to-one coaching. And so they can choose which path they want based on what services they're needing for this particular section. And then that takes them to the actual page. So I just went to like my coaching page where they can choose their different types of services and what they want and go through the whole case study and then the application process, which is right here. And that leads them to a much more beautiful pop-up menu where they fill out all of the application questions to figure out if we're a fit for each other and what specific services or support they're looking for. And then same thing for like the creative agency services that we have. So like Magic Media, we are an agency, boutique style, that we work with a handful of clients every year to help them build their platforms, online communities, strategy, tech, design, all of the things that an agency does. And so just making it a lot clearer and easier for people to decide if they want to work with us and if we can support them. And then the third one was around all the live events. So folks on my email list, it's like there's at least one event every single month, usually multiple. And so having this events page, which is a similar layout to the course library page, but slightly different, so that people can just see all the upcoming things that we have going on inside of Magic Media. And also I put our Play Chi Ball schedule in here as well, so folks that are curious about Chi Ball can come check that out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I,
really,
I know it's gratifying to have added those live events
yeah,
because they were kind of under recognized in the previous version of the site. They were sort of like, and by the way, and I knew from being in Magic Mind for, over a year, how to me, one of Bradley's huge strengths, your huge strengths, is the way and not just the way, the specifics, all of the live events that you run, the workshops, the signature workshop, all of that stuff. That's a huge strength of yours. I mean, it's phenomenal. I've never seen anybody run events better. And so those needed to be emphasized. People needed to have, to be able to find those really easily. So that makes me really happy too. That's another one of my favorite things about the site is just that we emphasized what you're great at, you know, and
thanks.
that people can find it really easily.
Also,
Yeah.
you did a great job. These used to be scattered everywhere. And I always, actually, this is one of the pages, if I'm considering working with somebody, is just like the
Yeah.
many testimonials that we have.
I saw them everywhere and I was like, you know what? It's and we still have them on different pages because not everybody's going to go to every page of the website,
Yeah,
but there were so many great testimonials, and again, I know Bradley's work really well and he deserves these testimonials, and so I really felt like let's make sure that people see how impressive his work is.
yeah.
So yeah, so I pulled them all together and put them on their own page as well as throughout the site.
And the case studies section
The
here is
case studies is
it.
amazing. I should have said that earlier.
Yeah,
The case
this
study, well, you already had the case studies. I just made them look really, you and also you already did a great job with these. So Bradley's very talented. It's not like he's not. However, we made them shine. We
they
made
really
them,
do. Yeah,
yeah,
they
we made sure that
absolutely.
they were really visible and that you could find, again, they gave them their own page, which they did not have before. You had so much information on the previous site, all of which we incorporated, but it was often overwhelming. And
Yeah,
so I felt like a big piece of my job in this particular project was to take all that information and unoverwhelm it,
yeah,
make it so that you could take it in much more easily.
absolutely. Yeah,
That was a big part of the project.
it's a huge part of which is why I resisted to doing this for so long,
Yeah.
because I just know it's such a monumental amount of work
It is a lot.
to
It's a
do this stuff.
lot.
But
There
if
were weeks that were just like intense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's worth it,
it's
ultimately that's
so
the
worth
thing.
it.
Like it's so worth it. And just for everybody out there is like you need a case study section on your website. Every single one of you service providers that works with real humans and you facilitate transformations needs a case study section. And so if you don't have a case study section yet, I put in the wrong URL. Uh, Inside the course library here is a case study training that like takes you through the whole process and gives you like the workflow I use every time. Right here, craft compelling case studies. Spend the
Highly,
149
highly
bucks.
recommend that.
Literally just like, and Katie, I know you did that for your beautiful
Yep,
website here. Right on your homepage, you have these beautiful case studies, which I think you made this one in that training.
I did.
And these tell the stories. If anybody's interested in working with you, a testimonial is helpful, but a case study tells the story. It helps people to understand what it might be like to work with you, what that process will actually feel like, and the steps you took, and why you did certain things, and the thought processes you go through when you're leading your clients and your people. This is for one of Katie's um, home office transformations here, this case study, which is beautiful. So just want to say that to everybody out there. If you don't have a case study section, like literally that particular training that I just showed you, every time you begin a new project with clients, it you set up the infrastructure so you're building your case study while you're going through the process with that client so that when you launch or you finish the thing that you did with them, your case study is basically ready and you're just put the creative design stuff together and add it to your page and it just saves you all the time. And I know like, you know, every single client that's worked with us and paid us big money to work with Magic Media has gone through our case studies and checked out the stories of past clients. And I can guarantee it's the same thing with you and the people that you work with as well.
Yeah, it's a brilliantly effective tool to use. And they're almost like mini websites
Yeah.
themselves, you know?
Yeah.
They're very comprehensive. They're
Absolutely.
yeah, they're absolutely phenomenal. And I understand how when somebody first hears the concept, they might think, well, but I have testimonials. They're quite different. And you do need both because a testimonial is almost like a calling card. It's just this simple little, oh, this person, okay, so people like this person. People are interested in working with this person. They had a good experience. Okay, great. But the case study shows your thought process. It shows the kinds of things you've actually done with people. And it goes into so much more depth, but it's really easy to take in.
Yeah.
So it is such a home run. And yeah, I did create that first one in that workshop, and it has been so useful to have. And the newest one also, people, it's just so helpful. You know, you can tell people what you do, but this is showing them what you do. And it's incredibly valuable. I could not recommend that more. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta have them. You gotta do it. It's an example of Bradley's brilliance.
Our brilliance combined, which
Yeah,
is, part of what you do is like, you're brilliant at what you do. And you help to shine a spotlight on where other people are brilliant. And that's why you do such great work is like there's this beautiful alchemy that happens. And I've worked with so many artists and creatives over the years through what we do at Magic Media and Magic Kids and that is like the alchemy of collaboration that takes place and when we collaborate with the right people on the right projects that fill our hearts up, we make something more magical than we could ever imagine doing if we just tried to do it ourselves all the way
that's
through.
really true.
And our
That's really,
website
really true.
platform are some of the most important areas to focus our resources, energy, and time on so that when we're driving traffic to our website, we're way more likely for those people to actually land as clients or partners or projects that we work on together because we've taken the time and energy to really think through our messaging and put a brand that best represents who we are and what we're doing in the world.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the magic, with the name Magic Media was an intentional name. That is the magic ingredient. It's like the
Absolutely.
artistic expression that we all have inside of us, and it just takes the extra little bit of time for it to give it the space that it needs to be expressed.
Yeah. And, everybody has an incredible story. That's what I've learned by doing that whole process of value propositions, which is the start of developing your really cohesive and impressive website. The stories that people have shared with me, it there are no boring people. I
Yeah,
cannot tell you the stories that I have heard. Every single person, their stories are unbelievable. The things that they've gone through, what they've made it through, and what they've had to deal with, and what they've accomplished. That's the best part of what I do is hearing those stories. They
yeah,
are incredible. They're incredible. And
beautiful.
so you want to imbue your site with, even if somebody never hears that story, it's part of my job to actually have that as the underpinning. So
Yeah,
you do feel it, even if you're not focused on it.
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
And just to wrap this up, what any particular invitations that you would have for people to think about or consider when it comes to their brand and their online presence, or any final things that you would love just people to think about, consider?
Oh, what should I don't know. Think about or consider. Well, I mean, I think everything that you said is what people need to consider is like, aren't you worth it? Don't you want to, if you feel like your website is it's not really, or it's misaligned, like it looks corporate and you're really not a by the rules corporate person, or vice versa, you're very, very serious. I mean, that's not really usually my client. My
Yeah,
client is a mixture of silly and serious. I have to be honest. My client is like Bradley, somebody who is an amazing mixture of silly and serious. And so that's just a little aside. But just think about if you feel misaligned, it's like this is a tool that's really waiting there for you. And it's you owe it to yourself to create a website that properly represents you. And
yeah,
a website is also a course platform. It's also an e-commerce site. It's also a membership site.
yeah.
All of those are websites that we can create. And they're all, really, really valuable
And
tools to
and think
have.
about this, everybody. Think about this. You, whoever's watching or listening to this. How much money did you spend on your car? How much money do you spend on your clothes? How much money do you spend on meals out? None of those things give you a return on investment. They all devalue quickly. And
That is a great
your
point.
brand is the thing that makes you money. And I say this all the time. If you want to get paid like a pro, do professional work. There's small business loans. Go take out a ten to $15,000 small business loan and spend the money, invest the time and energy to go through this kind of transformation, because how many clients do you need to actually make that return on investment? How much will your conversion rate increase when people arrive at your website and the message is dialed in, the branding is tight, and it really speaks to who it is that you're trying to serve? It is one of the most worthy investments you could do. It's a better investment than, making the best possible videos for your online course. It's a better investment than hiring like almost any position, especially like, if you know what you're here to do and you know who you're here to serve, then the next step is like level up the brand, because everything will flow easier, better, smoother. You'll feel more proud and less embarrassed. And that does have a huge impact on you as the creator, as the coach, as the teacher, as the person who's like trying to make a living from sharing your gifts.
Thank you for that is all I could not agree more. Another thing that I'd love to add is that just a little bit of a plug for me is that I do copywriting and design and tech development all together. I am a one-person agency. So that, and I've been doing it a long time with lots of testimonials, and I've done it for huge corporations like Sikorsky Aircraft and Pepsi Bottling Group and the United Technologies Corporation companies. However, my main clients are my heart and soul, which is who I call brilliant, playful, spiritual entrepreneurs. And all those three adjectives really apply. They tend to be brilliant. They tend to be very fun and playful, and that they usually have a spiritual element, meaning they know that there is more to this world than meets the eye. And the fact that I combine all those things will save you a ton of effort and time and money. It's going to save you, and it's going to also make everything cohesive.
Yeah.
So that's really my special, my secret sauce. That's what I
Beautiful.
have to offer.
Everybody, highly recommend check out Katie's website, work with Katie.
Thank you.
If you can do that, if you're ready for that, then do it. Don't even second guess it because it's a great investment that will last for years, is getting everything set up. Embodyart.com is the website. And if you're looking for a home office transformation and you're curious about the incredible space design services that Katie does, go check out colormaiden.com and see the amazing custom
Thank
rugs
you.
that Katie does and all the transformational work that she could do for your home office space. And she has a quiz at the embodyart.com right at the top. There's a How Strong is Your Brand quiz, which is actually a really awesome quiz that I recommend you all just go take the 5-10 minutes to go do the quiz and get your results and just see where you're actually at with your branding and your message. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank
it's
you, Kate.
great.
Appreciate you so much. Thanks for taking time
Thank
to
you.
come
Appreciate you
chat
so
about the
much.
process. Yeah. Okay, everybody, you know what to do next. Have fun.